Exclusive contract for Feilu Novel Network Novel. Martial Arts. I am Murong Fu, Auntie, please take care of yourself. Travel through the world of comprehensive martial arts, become Murong Fu, and awaken the strengthening system. Martial arts, mind techniques, all things in the world can be strengthened. So, Murong Fu embarked on his invincible journey. I want all the unparalleled martial arts, beautiful women from all over the world. Wang Yuyan said, Mother, you're also with your cousin. Ning Zhongze said, Young Master Murong, what finger technique were you using last night? It's so irresistible. Yin Susu said, No, this kind of thing is absolutely not allowed. Murong Fu said, Madam, you don't want your family to have anything to do you? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Crossing through Murong Fu, the peerless seed of great resentment. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. 30 miles west of Gusu City. Deep in the reed pond of Dongting. In this seemingly idyllic land, there is a magnificent estate hidden beneath it. Sanha Village. Although it is called a manor, the manor covering 1,000 acres is already enough to be called a small territory. And this manor hidden deep in the reed pond was founded by the martial arts Master Murong Longqing decades ago. As a martial arts prodigy, Murong Longqing not only created a unique skill called Dozhuan Xingyi, but also used it to dominate the martial arts world. His personal background is extremely prestigious, and he is the bloodline of the imperial family of former Yan. Unfortunately, after the destruction of Yan, the few people who escaped had no chance of restoring the country. When the exceptionally talented Murong Dragon City emerged, the world had already been peaceful for a long time. Against the backdrop of a peaceful world and a desire for governance, even though Murong Longqing's martial arts were unparalleled, he ultimately achieved nothing. The Murong Dragon City, which had lost hope for national rejuvenation, ordered people to secretly build the secluded Sanha village. To leave a spark of national rejuvenation for future generations. At this point, the contemporary head of the Sanha village had become the grandson of Murong Longqing. Murong Fu. I traveled to the world of martial arts and became Murong Fu. Looking at the handsome and graceful face in the bronze mirror. Murong Fu's expression was calm. Just because he got drunk, he transformed into a character in the novel. Not only did he travel to this person with the same name and surname as himself. It has become the famous North Xiaofeng in the martial arts world, and the South Murong among the South Murong. Gusu, Murong Fu. And this world is not just an ordinary martial arts world, but also a world of comprehensive martial arts. Tang, Song, Yuan, and Ming were no longer dynasties, but instead became individual countries, and even small countries like Western Xia and Dali existed. There are countless active martial arts organizations on this vast continent. Not only are there Shaolin and Wudang, but there are also Yihua Palace and Xihang Jingzhai. The struggle between righteous and evil sects is endless, and the entire Jianghu is simply a hodgepodge. Zhang Sanfeng, Sweeping Monk, Zaiyayozi. Countless heroic heroes. Huang Rong, Guoxiang, Little Dragon Girl. An endless stream of beautiful women. Gusu Murong truly lives up to his reputation. Looking around the room, Murong Fu's eyes narrowed slightly. The bedroom has a huge area, with nothing but a desk and a bed. But through exquisite carving and luxurious wood, it can be determined that these objects are definitely priceless. The 4 treasures of the study on the desk are also made of top-notch materials. Putting it outside, you can exchange it for a large amount of wealth, just like taking it out, which is enough for ordinary people to eat, drink, and enjoy for several years. But here, it almost fills the entire desk. Even the brocade clothes on the body are hand-cut from rare silk. Wearing the priceless brocade robe, not only did it not dominate, but it also highlighted Murong Fu's extraordinary temperament. Elegant and elegant, exuding a majestic temperament, as if one were a nobleman in the sky. Looking at himself in the mirror, Murong Fu's lips outlined a faint smile. This is just right. Combining the plot in the novel, he naturally knows why his original fate was so tumultuous. I have always aspired to restore the state of Yen since I was young, and even aspired to ascend to the throne as emperor. But fate is full of misfortune, not only missing out on good opportunities repeatedly. Even some almost easily obtainable opportunities will be taken advantage of by chance. It's not surprising that others call this Nan Murong resentful of his various circumstances. First-rate cultivation, it's quite something. Sensing his inner cultivation, Murong Fu nodded and smiled lightly. Although this Nan Murong devoted more time to military strategy, attempting to accomplish the great cause of national rejuvenation. But in the remaining time, with excellent talent and perseverance, cultivation still did not fall behind. Apart from being slightly inferior to Bei Qiaofeng, who is on par with him, he can even be considered a leader among his peers. If most of his energy had not been focused on restoring the country, Murong Fu would have long been in the realm of nurture. In my memory, the warriors in this world of martial arts are divided into third-rate, second-rate, first-class, acquired, innate, big and small masters among them. The third-rate is top-notch and still in the ordinary world. Although they have cultivation, they can only settle in a corner and cannot compete with true experts. But if one enters the day after tomorrow, raising one's hand is enough to crush mountains and rocks, galloping freely in the rivers and lakes. In the innate realm, there is a continuous source of true qi in the body, and the essence of life has undergone earth-shattering changes. As for the later great masters and the legendary realm of heaven and humanity, it has long been freed from the shackles of the mortal body and possesses strong vitality. For ordinary people, it is already like a divine being, beyond imagination. Even if one's cultivation is in an acquired state, the current situation wouldn't be so bad. His gaze paused on the wine pot on the ground, and Murong Fu knew the reason for his journey. However, the current situation in Sanhe village seems a bit unfavorable, although the location is hidden. After all, so many years have passed. For people in the martial arts world, the location of Sanhe village is no longer a secret. The massive wealth hidden in the attempt to restore the country by Sanhezwang has naturally aroused the covetousness of some people. Some voyeurism, whether overt or covert, has become the norm in recent times in Sanhe village. If it weren't for the sufficient guards from the servants, the Sanhe village would have been swallowed by a whale long ago, with no bones left. It's a bit interesting. Having understood his current situation, Murong Fu felt lost in thought. I didn't expect that after traveling, I would encounter such a tricky thing. Ding, divine level enhancement system successfully launched. While Murong Fu was pondering, a mechanical sound suddenly came to his mind. As a traveler, why are you missing your golden fingers? Upon learning of the existence of the system, Murong Fu silently recited in his heart, learning from the novel. System. As the sound sounded, a semi-transparent light curtain slowly unfolded in front of Murong Fu. Name. Murong Fu, Realm. First Class, Technique. Dozhuan Xingyi, Earth Level Technique, Reputation. 20. Achievement. As the head of the Murong family, you can allocate all resources. Features. Lang de Fai Ming. No one in the martial arts world takes you seriously. Pian Gongzi. 100% increase in attractiveness to Wang Yuyan. National Restoration Plan. If you have a great obsession with national restoration, you may develop a demon in your heart. Son of Disaster. You will always miss out on opportunities. After slowly reading the text on the system interface, Murong Fu burst into laughter. There are only 4 characteristics of the Communist Party of China, and 3 of them have negative effects. No wonder Murong Fu in the original work was so miserable, wandering the world with these characteristics. The final result is just crazy. It can already be called a profound blessing. And his circumstances, which can be considered as gruesome, are also considered deserved. In this situation, wandering the rivers and lakes, even a saint would probably go crazy. With so many negative effects, even if you want to practice honestly and not relieve the state of mind demons, not to mention guarding the Sanha village, it will definitely be half the result with twice the effort. Murong Fu's face remained unchanged, but he had already communicated with the system in his heart. Since you have awakened the system, let's first see if it can bring you surprises. Strengthen the system, turn it on. Chapter 2. Infinite Enhancement. Time flies and the stars move. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Strengthening the system can strengthen all things in the world. Cultivation techniques, weapons, elixirs, equipment. All things can be strengthened. What a domineering system. Looking at the system introduction, Murong Fu smiled calmly. Strengthening the system can enhance all logistics. Even the most ordinary sword can ultimately strengthen into a peerless divine weapon. Moreover, it can not only enhance weapons and equipment, but even enhance pills and techniques. Since we have a system, naturally we need to improve our martial arts skills first. Although divine weapons and sharp weapons are good, they are external objects, and it is not important to have one's own cultivation. If you have a high cultivation level and become a divine weapon, it is not easy to obtain. Thinking about this, Murong Fu let out a faint smile. How to strengthen it? As long as corresponding resources are invested, they can be used to strengthen all things. What do resources refer to? Murong Fu asked in his heart. Gold, silver, jewelry and ordinary customs, as well as martial arts techniques and elixirs, can all be regarded as resources. Gold and silver. Gusu Murong, what is not lacking the most is gold and silver. After listening to the system explanation, Murong Fu gave a faint smile. As the head of the Murong family in Gusu, I hold the wealth of the entire Murong clan in my hands. In order to fulfill the grand wish of national rejuvenation, wealth has secretly accumulated for 3 generations. The wealth of the entire Murong family has long exceeded the imagination of ordinary people. It is simply amazing that worldly gold and silver can be transformed into spiritual resources. As for the disappearance of resources after strengthening, why bother mentioning mere external items? Say hello to the guard outside the door, and soon a servant carried 2 boxes of gold and silver to the house. Opening the box, there is a mountain of gold and silver piled up inside, at least tens of thousands of taels. In this era where 7 or 8 taels of silver can support ordinary families for a year, so much money is enough for them to squander for several lifetimes. Master, all the inventory of gold and silver in the village is here. The 2 guards commanded the servants to put the boxes away before respectfully answering. Although they were guards, the 2 of them were tall and strong, and their strength was evident at first glance. Standing there at this moment, they were as straight as a javelin, with sharp eyes and sharpness. Gusu Murong has always been determined to restore the former yen, and the head of the family's guards naturally trained themselves through military tactics. As the personal guards of the head of the family, these 2 guards not only have third-rate cultivation, but also far superior military skills and strategies compared to ordinary people. To the outside world, at least he is a military officer at the rank of a general in the military. For their loyalty, Murong Fu is even less worried. After 3 generations of cultivation, those who can appear by Murong Fu's side are all brainwashed and pure-born children. Let's step back first. After the guards left, Murong Fu drank softly. Strengthen your martial arts skills, as time flies and stars move. Ding. Does it consume 100 taels of silver to strengthen the technique Dozhuan Xing Yi, birth level? As the sound fell, a light curtain appeared before Murong Fu's eyes. Only 100 taels. Enhancement. Murong Fu sneered. As the sound fell, the light curtain in front of me also changed. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement. The skill, Star Shift, +1. The changing stars are created by the martial arts genius Murong Longqing. The mystery of this martial art lies in its ability to use force for combat. No matter what kind of martial arts the opponent uses, they can transfer their strength and counterattack each other in the process of transforming their form and shadow, which is precisely the mystery behind it. At the peak of cultivation, even the just-reaching young dragon subduing 18 palms can be returned intact in the blink of an eye. As the creator of this martial arts technique, Murong Longcheng is even more proficient in the martial arts world with this technique, and there are few opponents in the world. He has also made a name for himself in the martial arts world, known as giving back to others with the same way. Murong Fu naturally had a deep understanding of this unique skill that is essential for the establishment of a family. Strengthening is so simple. Glancing at the 100 taels of silver that had quietly turned into ashes, Murong Fu's eyes narrowed slightly. In the next moment, Murong Fu felt a majestic and thick surge of true energy, filling his limbs and bones. At the same time, there was also a mysterious feeling in my mind. A burst of breath surged around the body, and the true qi in the body finally calmed down. After running for a week, the true qi has become more refined and condensed than before. In addition, there seem to be some other changes. The purity of true qi has been improved by at least 2 layers. With just one strengthening, there has been such a huge change. Upon learning of the enhanced power, Murong Fu nodded and chuckled lightly. Continue. Ding. Does it consume 200 taels of silver to enhance the skill Do Zhuan Xing Yi, Earth level, +1, ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement. The skill, Dozhuan Star Shift, +2. Another more intense breath surged, and Murong Fu's face remained calm. Not enough. System, give me reinforcement. This wave after wave also alarmed the guards outside the door. Master. When there was a breath wave during the first strengthening, the young guard outside instinctively clenched the knife in his hand. Don't be nervous. The older guard smiled and patted the young guard's bulging hand. The head of the family has excellent martial arts skills and some fluctuations in his breath are normal. The older guard wanted to continue speaking, but then another strong aura forced the two of them to shut their mouths together. Just the fluctuation of breath has already made them feel faint palpitations. The two guards were shocked and their faces showed a look of horror. What's going on? Why is it so terrifying? It seems that the master's martial arts have improved. I don't know where I will eventually reach after improving my cultivation this time. Silence. Let this matter rot in your heart. The matter of the head of the family cannot be discussed or spoken of. Although sweating profusely from the fluctuation of breath, smiles slowly appeared on the faces of the two guards. As members of the Murong family, their fate has long been tied to the Murong family in Gusu. Even if they were to die directly for Murong Fu, they would be willing and have no complaints. Moreover, as the head of the family, if Murong Fu's cultivation improves, the Murong family will naturally become even stronger. As a member of the Murong family, they have nothing to do with Yurong. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement. The skill, Dozhuan Star Shift, +5. Continuously strengthening until the Star Shift +5, Murong Fu stopped strengthening. At this moment, the inside of the room had already been disheveled by the fluctuations in breath he had caused. The expensive pear bed has been shaken halfway. If it weren't for Murong Fu's slight control, the whole room would have been overturned by him long ago. Ding. Does it consume 100 taels of gold and white martial arts essence X1 to enhance the technique Dozhuan Xing Yi, ground level, +5? If you want to continue strengthening, do you still need to consume the essence of martial arts? Looking at the system prompt, Murong Fu's eyes narrowed slightly. Chapter 3. New features. Enhanced surprise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Does it consume 100 taels of gold and white martial arts essence X1 to enhance the technique Dozhuan Xing Yi, ground level, +5? Strengthening high-level logistics will correspondingly increase consumption. Looking at the thousands of taels of silver that had silently turned into ashes, Murong Fu's face remained unchanged. A small amount of gold and silver can elevate the Dozhuan star movement to such a level, which can be called earning blood. Compared to these mundane objects, the essence of martial arts required to strengthen the system is more noteworthy. The essence of martial arts. The essence of martial arts, obtained by defeating a warrior with one's own hands, is divided into 7 types. White, green, blue, orange, purple, and gold, number of essences now. White essence X10, green essence X5, looking at the system prompt, Murong Fu raised his eyebrows. Former family owner Murong Bo, in his early years, planned a conspiracy that could affect several countries in order to seek the great cause of national rejuvenation, and even fake death to escape. Although Murong Bo had arranged everything in advance before his feigned death, in the absence of a prosperous population, he had to secretly arrange for the teenage Murong Fu to hastily inherit the ancestral family business of Gusu Murong. Not only does he hold a high position, but he also holds an extraordinary status. As the head of the family, Murong Fu didn't need to personally take action when he left the martial arts world. When wandering the rivers and lakes occasionally, the 4 of them will have already cleared all the inconspicuous people. If anyone dares to touch the mold, the hundreds of soldiers of the Murong family in Gusu are enough to make them start anew. The only few attempts were to test the progress of cultivation. Over the years, I only personally took action a few times. Although there are many strong warriors. But it's no wonder they've been called counterfeit grudges. Murong Fu smiled calmly at the various past events surrounding him. Since you have inherited your past, then take a path of strength that you have never set foot on before. System, strengthen. With the mysterious aura surging again, the Dozhuan star instantly strengthened successfully. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement, star shift +6. Obtain the additional feature of Forliang Pai Qian Jin. Unexpectedly gained new features. Listening to the system prompt in his mind, Murong Fu squinted his eyes slightly. Forliang Pai Qian Jin. When using Dozhuan Xingyi's power to attack, you can double the damage done. Strengthening techniques not only provide powerful power, but also feature blessings. The extraordinary feature of Forliang plucking 1,000 pounds can unexpectedly double the enemy's attack when used against them, and the effect is unimaginable. If used properly, it can be considered a trump card. Looking at the characteristics of his divine skill, Murong Fu remained calm in his heart. Whether it's the hidden dangers of the Tsanha village or the wild hope of the Gusu Murong family in their attempt to restore the country. We all need stronger strength. System, continue to strengthen. For a moment, the entire Huancher water pavilion was filled with the roaring sound of successfully strengthened breath. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement. The skill, star shift, +7. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement. The skill, Dozhuan Xingyi, +8. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement. The skill, star shift, +9. Accompanied by 3 consecutive system prompts, the system has also released 2 new features in succession. More war, more brave. After each successful use of power, the damage of Dozhuanqi increases by 10%. Can be accumulated, immovable as a mountain. When operating the Dozhuan star movement, it can withstand a full blow from an opponent 2 levels higher than its own realm. After slowly reading the introduction, Murong Fu smiled calmly. The more you fight, the braver you become. Every time you successfully use Dozhuan star shift to return the enemy's attack, the damage will be increased by 10%. Seemingly simple, but particularly domineering. The most crucial thing is that skill damage can accumulate. This means that if 2 warriors with similar martial arts skills are engaged in battle, one side is constantly consuming true qi, while the other is constantly using Dozhuan Star Shift to strengthen their attacks. As long as you accumulate enough attacks, you can easily kill your opponent. Even for martial artists with stronger cultivation, the longer they are entangled by Murong Fu, the more difficult it is to escape. Not only is it impossible to escape, but it will also be slowly worn to death in despair. As for not moving like a mountain, it is extremely practical. Capable of withstanding a full blow from an opponent at a level 2 higher than oneself, without any damage or backlash, it can be considered a life-saving skill. Acquired, innate, master, great master with the blessing of being as motionless as a mountain, Murong Fu is capable of resisting the attacks of master-level masters. Although there was only one strike, if we add 4 or 2 kilograms of weight and the bravery of the Vietnam War. Encountering innate experts, one can already resist or even counterattack. Even master-level experts have the possibility of making a concerted effort. There are 3 characteristics, one is rebound critical strike, one is sustained combat, and the last is level challenge. Different abilities directly increase Murong Fu's combat power. There are 3 more cards in the hand that can be called rocket. Not enough. Keep strengthening. Ding, insufficient reinforcement resources, reinforcement failed. As they were preparing to strengthen Dozhuan Xingyi to a higher level, the system suddenly sounded a warning sound. Insufficient resources. Glancing at the depleted gold and silver, Murong Fu sneered. Chapter 4. Mantuo Villa. Li Qingluo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Unexpectedly, he would be trapped by mere gold and silver. Glancing at the empty gold and silver box, Murong Fu burst into laughter. Besides, there is also the essence of martial arts. Now all we need is the white essence of martial arts. What will happen in the future? The gold and silver consumed by the reinforcement system exceeded his expectations, forcing him to stop strengthening. The Murong clan of Gusu has accumulated decades of wealth, so naturally it will not be so small. But strengthening the system only recognizes cash as a resource. If we want to continue strengthening, we need a huge amount of silver with at least 1,000 taels of gold at once. Although it can still be obtained, it still takes time to go to the bank to exchange it. Although the reinforcement has been terminated, with my current strength. North Qiaofeng, South Murong. Qiaofeng. Thinking of this guy who could be on par with him, Murong Fu smiled calmly. The peak strength of the day after tomorrow, as well as the dominance of the 18 dragons subduing palms, allow Qiaofeng to dominate the martial arts world. The experience of gradually ascending to the position of the leader of the beggars sect from the grassroots level has further enabled Qiaofeng to achieve countless remarkable achievements. Correspondingly, Murong Fu, the head of the Murong family in Gusu, made very few moves and achieved very little in battle. After 9 rounds of reinforcement, you have the strength to take it easy. North Qiaofeng, South Murong, finally live up to their name. But Murong Fu's eyes froze. Qiaofeng, I don't deserve to put my name in front of Murong Fu. Not enough. I need resources. Just being on par with Qiaofeng, how can Murong Fu be satisfied? Murong Fu's gaze drifted towards the distance. Prepare a boat and go to the Mandala villa. While commanding the guards, Murong Fu walked out of the room. As soon as you leave, you will have a panoramic view of the magnificent scenery of Canha village. The Yanziwu, where Murong Fu lived, is the tallest building in Canha village. Looking from afar, you can overlook the entire situation of the Canha village. 1,000 acres of manor, 10,000 acres of fertile land. In order to achieve the great goal of restoring the country, the heritage of the Murong family in Gusu should not be underestimated. Looking into the distance at countless fertile fields and lakes, Murong Fu's gaze remained indifferent. But it's not enough, Gusu Murong needs to grow even stronger. And now, it's the best opportunity. The boat was traveling rapidly through the reeds. Murong Fu stood at the bow of the ship, his thoughts spinning. Gusu Wang's family. Looking at the rolling rivers, as well as the fertile fields and lakes on the banks. Murong Fu's eyes narrowed slightly. If you want to get a huge amount of cash as soon as possible, there is nothing better than the Gusu Wang family located adjacent to the Zhanhe village. Mantuo Mountain Villa is the gathering place of the Gusu Wang family. Two families live next to each other, and even Murong Fu's deceased mother is the biological sister of the late head of the Wang family. As a wealthy family in Jiangnan, the Wang family is capable of competing with the Murong family in Gusu. Isn't it appropriate for such wealthy relatives to support the restoration of the former Yan royal family and their own nephews? Even worse, with this relationship, it should be possible to exchange silver bills for some gold and silver. Mrs. Wang. Thinking of Mrs. Wang, who is currently in charge of the Gusu Wang family, Murong Fu's expression moved slightly. Should I call you Aunt Wang? Or Li Qingluo, the daughter of Wuyazi and Li Qiushui? The Zhanhe village is only half a day's drive from the Mantuo mountain villa, and it is more convenient and efficient to take the waterway at this time. In less than an hour, the fast ship arrived at the Mandala villa. Murong Fu, what are you doing at my Wang family? Murong Fu walked along the path paved with blue stones, familiar with the way. Before entering the gate of the villa, a cold and indifferent voice came from his ear. Turning her head, she saw Mrs. Wang pruning mandalas. I've met my aunt. I came to Mantuo Villa this time, and my nephew thought. Humph. With a cold snort, Mrs. Wang turned around. The plump and delicate body of the beautiful woman also appeared in Murong Fu's eyes. Time didn't seem to leave too many marks on her cheeks, but instead added some charm to her. The only thing that doesn't match her stunning and delicate appearance is the chill on her face that repels people thousands of miles away. Don't disturb my pleasure. Let's wait until the tea trees are pruned before we talk. A pair of apricot eyes scanned Murong Fu a few times, and Mrs. Wang said coldly. Name. Li Qingluo. Realm. The day after tomorrow, rating. 93, evaluation. The charm still lingers, and having capacity is great. Surprisingly, the system still has this function. His gaze paused on Yurong Nida, and Murong Fu smiled calmly. Since my aunt is still busy, my nephew will go to the village to wait first. Murong Fu turned around and wanted to leave, but Mrs. Wang suddenly said, wait. Thinking that Mrs. Wang had something to say, Murong Fu's footsteps paused slightly. Unexpectedly, she only continued to trim the tea tree without any intention of speaking. Ha! Since we need to talk about money, we can't help but endure. Watching his delicate body wriggling under the mandolin tree, as if it were a peach, Murong Fu's expression remained calm. After a stick of incense, Wang Fu finally wiped the sweat off his forehead and stopped trimming. Tell me, what's up? Glancing at Murong Fu who was still in place, Mrs. Wang casually asked. Aunt, my nephew wants to use some money this time. Before she could finish listening, Mrs. Wang raised her eyebrows lightly. What? Is it that the grandiose Suzhou Murong family has fallen to the point where they can't even get money out? My nephew needs some cash. Haha. Upon hearing Murong Fu's words, Mrs. Wang suddenly let out a delicate smile like a silver bell. It should have seemed inappropriate to assume such a posture at her age. But due to its proper maintenance, delicate and charming face, and graceful figure. At this moment, when I laugh, I have a unique taste. No. Putting aside her laughter, Mrs. Wang sneered and shook her head, speaking of which, I don't have any silver left in my manor. Since your uncle passed away. Since my aunt doesn't have money either, Murong said goodbye. Interrupting Mrs. Wang's pretentious attitude of carrying a gun and a stick, Murong Fu's expression remained unchanged. He doesn't care much about the help or not from the manor of Manta. It's just some gold and silver, Murong Fu has a solution. I came here first, but it's just because it's recent. Did I let you go? Just as Murong Fu turned around and left, Mrs. Wang's voice rang out again. "Oh. I wonder if my aunt has anything else to do." Without stopping to leave, Murong Fu asked calmly. "Humph. I have never seen the Murong clan of Gusu, except for the Murong Dragon City. It's really that each generation is getting worse." As Mrs. Wang watched as Murong Fu couldn't borrow money and left, she let out a cold snort with a look of disdain in her eyes. "Murong Bo, that old man, always borrows money or food. When I come to you, I come here every other day to enjoy the autumn breeze. I'm almost treating my Mandala villa as a good place." Mrs. Wang's words became increasingly unpleasant as she spoke, without noticing Murong Fu's gradually cold expression. "I have to say, in your generation, I don't know if Gusu Murong can continue to exist. Madam Wang, I have always treated you with respect as an elder, but unfortunately." Slowly stopping, Murong Fu had a playful expression on his face. "What you said is a bit excessive, isn't it?" Chapter 5. Teach me etiquette. You still don't deserve it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why, is what madam I said wrong? Mrs. Wang snorted coldly, crossed her waist, and her green jade arms slid off her sleeves. Slender and round, with skin like snow. There was a hint of feminine charm around the corners of her eyes, but a hint of anger appeared on her face. Mrs. Wang has an extraordinary identity. Her real name is Qingluo. My biological father is the mysterious and unpredictable leader of the Xiaoyao sect, Wuxia, and my mother is Li Qiushui, the unparalleled beauty of the martial arts world. Later, due to the lack of a cliff, Li Qiushui became angry and brought Mrs. Wang to Ding Chuanqiu's side to raise her up. Wuxia, Li Qiushui, Ding Chuanqiu. No matter who, they are all prominent figures in the martial arts world. With such people as parents, Li Qingluo is naturally favored. She has been living a luxurious life since she was young, and she is also exceptionally beautiful. Someone who met her was not polite, afraid that she would suffer a little injustice. When respected, I will call you Auntie. But if you bully others with your might, it's Li Qingluo. Upon hearing such words that no one dared to say in front of her, Li Qingluo's eyebrows turned upside down and she was furious. With sharp teeth and sharp mouth, how dare you call my wife's name directly? From today on, the Gusu Wang family has no further dealings with you. Amidst Li Qingluo's trembling moans, Murong Fu gave a calm smile and interrupted her conversation. Why bother mentioning the Gusu Wang family? You speak with great respect for Su Murong, but what is the glory of what you have done? Whether it's the green hat on my uncle's head or my cousin's biological father. I can't see your nobility in these two matters. Nonsense. Li Qingluo's eyes flickered and she scolded with a mixture of shyness and anger. All right, Murong Fu, how dare you slander my wife? Today, if you don't come up with a constitution, you will not be able to leave Mandala Villa. Defamation. Looking at Li Qingluo, who was both beautiful and alluring, but also harbored a murderous intent, Murong Fu's face remained calm and he continued to thrust his sword. I just don't know if you're afraid of slander when you treat Duan Jingchun as your lover. Speaking of which, I don't know if this Dali Duan prince remembers you, Li Qingluo, who has already been married. You. Why do you know? With a series of secretive events revealed from Murong Fu's mouth, Li Qingluo's face suddenly turned pale with shock. The usual dignity and demeanor have been completely destroyed. Gusu Murong, how much better is it? Looking at Murong Fu's teasing gaze, Li Qingluo's face was gloomy and uncertain. Thinking of the secret things she had discovered privately, she snorted coldly, with you all, you still want to restore the country. There's no door. I'm going to report you. Ha, report it. Without any evidence or evidence, just say that my Gusu Murong rebelled. Who can believe it? Who dares to believe it? Li Qingluo's threat was of no use to Murong Fu. Murong Fu's face remained unchanged. If we go to Dali now and talk about your situation, will Prince Duan feel sorry for you and accept you as his concubine? You. Murong Fu. When he was young and inexperienced, he was ruthlessly abandoned by a scumbag and his husband died early. Li Qingluo had long regarded these past events as shame, but now that Murong Fu mentioned them, her pretty face turned pale with anger. Murong Fu, I'm going to kill you. Haha. Ignoring Li Qingluo's madness, Murong Fu sneered and prepared to leave the Mandala villa. Li Qingluo, who was infuriated and defeated, refused to let him go. Leave it for me. With a light lift of her hand, a burst of angry true qi appeared in her palm. Both parents are top-notch experts, so Li Qingluo's skills are naturally extraordinary. My cultivation has already reached the realm of postnatal cultivation. If I hadn't been particularly lax in my cultivation would have been even higher. The experience of being raised by Ding Chuanxiu further gave her the idea that life and death depend on those in power. I have been accustomed to life and death since I was young. As I grow up, I have developed a habit of killing without blinking an eye, and I like to bury other people's bodies under mandalas as nourishment. Moreover, the person across from him is still Murong Fu, who knows his secret affairs. This kind of person must die. If you dare to expose my scar, then stay behind. At this moment, Li Qingluo held a grudge and made a move, her palm instantly reaching into Murong Fu's vest. Just move forward half an inch and you will break through it, sending Murong Fu back to the west. How dare you take action? Feeling the fierce true energy behind him, Murong Fu's eyes turned cold. Turning around and lifting his hand, he placed his left hand on Li Qingluo's delicate and creamy jade arm. Time flies and the stars move. Under the astonished gaze of Li Qingluo, her true energy surged into Murong Fu's body, and there was no more news like a sunken sea. Before she could react, Murong Fu's right hand patted her slender waist. You. Just as she was about to start scolding, Li Qingluo felt a powerful and domineering force rushing towards her. She snorted and flew backwards, breaking several mandala trees before stopping flying. Li Qingluo's pretty face turned pale, and as she watched the mandala tree she had personally pruned break by herself, she didn't catch a breath and almost fainted. Ding, obtain the white martial arts essence X1. Defeating Li Qingluo, surprisingly losing its essence. I just don't know what the rules for falling are. Glancing at Li Qingluo, who was fiercely staring at him, Murong Fu's gaze relaxed. How could my aunt be so careless? Quickly ask your nephew to help you up. With one palm, the mandala tree in front of him was cut off, and Murong Fu sneered. Slowly approaching Li Qingluo, looking down at her from a high position. You wicked beast! How dare you harm me? You're dead set. You're dead set. Li Qingluo could never have imagined how Murong Fu, who was only a first-class cultivator, defeated himself. Even if one is lazy in cultivation, they still have the cultivation of the postnatal realm. Do you know who I am? The intense pain in her ribs made Li Qingluo roar, how dare you hurt me? Li Qingluo, with her disheveled hair, has long lost her noble and luxurious demeanor. She looked fiercely at Murong Fu, with a murderous intent in her eyes. If it weren't for the immense secrecy, she would almost have revealed her entire background. But it was unknown that the clothes on his waist had long been shattered by Murong Fu's palm, and his plump and delicate body was already visible in Murong Fu's eyes. Of course I know, you're a woman. Glancing at the snowy skin under the sunlight, Murong Fu's lips outlined a cold smile. Seeking death. Sensing Murong Fu's teasing gaze, Li Qingluo broke through the defense directly. She stumbled forward again, but the true qi in her body became chaotic as she forcefully lifted it. Murong Fu reached out and embraced Li Qingluo's messy footsteps with a willow waist. Even if my aunt is so heartless, my nephew will still remember family affection. Feeling the slippery touch of the hand, Murong Fu reached out and grasped her softness. Auntie, my nephew is treating your injury. Chapter 6. Conquer Li Qingluo, the Lord of Mantuo Villa. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Auntie, don't panic. My nephew will treat your injury now. Although Li Qingluo's cultivation has reached the realm of postnatal cultivation, she does not like to cultivate. Without her internal strength, how can she withstand the strengthened Dozhuan star shift? Under the disorder of internal breathing, Li Qingluo's body felt as if all 5 internal organs were about to explode, only to collapse in Murong Fu's arms. And what she didn't expect even more was that while Murong Fu's strange hands were swimming on her delicate body, they even tapped her whole. Only Li Qingluo, whose vision and ear power were still sensitive, could vaguely hear a low murmur coming from her ear. The sky is the quilt, and the ground is the bed. Li Qingluo's beautiful eyes widened and her pretty face was full of shock, as she was crushed to the ground. Li Qingluo, who couldn't speak, could only watch helplessly as her plump legs were lifted up. Then, the strange and shameful taste in her body made her want to bite her tongue and commit suicide immediately. A pair of foot clothes embroidered with mandalas were rudely pulled down by Murong Fu. The delicate and slender arches of the feet sway vigorously with the swaying body. From the cracks in her messy hair, she could still see her favorite mandala flower. Li Qingluo's head rumbled, and she could only stare at Murong Fu with her eyes, constantly cursing his despicable behavior in her heart. What made her feel ashamed and angry was that although her body could not move, her senses became exceptionally sensitive. A feeling that she had never experienced before rose within her body, like a tide, completely engulfing her entire being. Ding! Obtain the White Martial Arts Essence X1. The weather is cold and the earth is freezing. Don't let your aunt catch a cold. When Li Qingluo regained consciousness, it was already dusk and the sky was getting darker. Looking at Li Qingluo, whose beautiful eyes couldn't even focus, Murong Fu's expression was calm. Although red powder beauty is intoxicating, for Murong Fu, her cultivation and status are far less important. After a while, Li Qingluo finally regained consciousness. Although she wished she had torn apart Murong Fu, she had already become limp all over due to this disaster, and she didn't even have the strength to lift her finger at Murong Fu. Damn it! Li Qingluo gritted her silver teeth and looked at Murong Fu with the most malicious gaze. There is dirt on my aunt's face. Reading the resentment in Li Qingluo's eyes, Murong Fu's gaze lingered. As he raised his hand and waved it, a palm fan hit Li Qingluo's incredibly beautiful cheek. After the crisp sound, Li Qingluo's pretty face left 5 distinct fingerprints. If you want to kill me, I'll fight back. This is a very fair deal. Or is it that my aunt still thinks it's not enough? Looking coldly at Li Qingluo, who was only wearing profanity clothes, Murong Fu continued to thrust a knife into her already on the brink of collapse. She's already a slut, why bother pretending to be a chaste heroine? Bastard! Li Qingluo almost fainted when she heard this, but unfortunately her body couldn't exert any strength. How could Murong Fu let her go? Since he had completely offended her, he didn't mind completely taming her. The heritage of Mandala Villa is a considerable resource. In order to retaliate against Prince Duan of Dali, you haven't done such an ugly thing before. Speaking of which, uncle is really pitiful. Unexpectedly married a woman with a charming personality. Nonsense. You're talking nonsense. Listening to the sound of scolding in her ear, Li Qingluo only felt ashamed and angry, ready to die. Apart from being deceived by Duan Jingchun when she was young, and marrying the royal family of Gusu, she has never done anything against women's ethics. Murong Fu not only defiled his own body, but also dared to slander himself. Li Qingluo only felt anger attacking her heart, wishing she could immediately rush forward and shatter Murong Fu's body into pieces. Based on my aunt's current situation, we can't see anyone. Glancing at the shattered clothes on the ground, Murong Fu raised an eyebrow. Take off the long shirt and casually throw it onto Li Qingluo's fair and seductive body. I will take you back, but you need to hand over the keys from all over the villa. Murong Fu, who was wearing tight pants and shirtless, looked sideways. Li Qingluo's beautiful eyes widened and she roared angrily, "No way. Auntie's posture, if someone sees her." Murong Fu turned around calmly and didn't look at the angry Li Qingluo. Or is it that Auntie no longer cares about secular views? You. Li Qingluo suddenly became angry. If someone else knew about such an ugly matter, how could she have the face to live in this world? I will definitely become a laughing stock in the martial arts world and never look up again. But if we agree to Murong Fu's request, everything in Mantuo Villa will once again become the possession of this wicked beast. Oh. It seems like someone has arrived. Looking at Li Qingluo's uncertain expression, Murong Fuban wanted to strike while the iron was hot, but suddenly a faint voice came from his ear. Murong Fu raised his eyebrows and stopped speaking. "Madam! Madam!" Upon hearing these cries, Li Qingluo's face changed greatly. "Because I haven't returned to the village for a long time, it has attracted the search of the maid. If you don't show up again, such an ugly thing will surely be discovered. I promise you. The consequence of being discovered is the thought of such a shocking event." Li Qingluo gritted her teeth tightly and finally made a compromise. After fumbling on the broken clothes for a moment, 2 keys were found. One is a treasure trove, and the other is the Langhuan Jade Cave. Angry and throwing the key at Murong Fu's feet, Li Qingluo said word by word. "Thank you, Aunt. The biggest purpose of this trip has been achieved, and Murong Fu will not care about Li Qingluo's bad temper." Picking up the key that symbolizes the heritage of the Mandala Villa, the system also rang. Ding! Congratulations to the host for unlocking the Mandala Villa and achieving the achievement of Mandala Villa Master. Lord of Mandala. Reputation plus 50, can freely enter and exit Mandala Villa, and access all the resources of the villa at any time. Don't mention the word "aunt" again. Holding her sour and soft jade arms, Li Qingluo tried her best to put on her clothes. Her stunning cheeks were filled with hatred. "From now on, we have no further connection." As she spoke, Li Qingluo wanted to quickly leave the place that had caused her great shame. Her delicate and tender body makes it difficult for her to even move. What my aunt said is absolutely right. Murong Fu's lips outlined a faint smile. "Since my aunt doesn't like it, let's call you Mrs. Wang." Reaching out to grab Li Qingluo's delicate waist, ignoring her desperate struggle. With a step, Murong Fu took Li Qingluo into the air. Silently passing by the side of the maid searching for Li Qingluo, the two quickly arrived at the manor of Mantuo Mountain. "Please take me to the treasure trove first, madam." Not afraid of anyone noticing, Murong Fu stood at the entrance of Mantuo Villa with a big grin, tightly holding on to Li Qingluo's hand. "Murong Fu, please let me go back to my dormitory first." Wearing only a long mail shirt all over his body, he was also embraced by the shirtless Murong Fu. Faced with the possibility of being discovered at any moment, Li Qingluo suppressed tears of humiliation and desperately begged for mercy in great fear. Unfortunately, Murong Fu did not let go of her, and his expression became even more indifferent. "I take you there." With a deep sigh, Li Qingluo obediently led Murong Fu towards the treasure trove. Chapter 7. The Story of Mandala Villa. Continue to strengthen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Previously, the name of Mandala Villa was not like that. After Li Qingluo married into the royal family of Gusu, due to her love for camellias, she planted the entire villa with mandalas and renamed it as Mantuo Villa. The vast Mandala Villa, apart from the mother and daughter of Li Qingluo and Wang Yuyan, still has many maids and servants. Although it cannot compare to the vast Sanha village, it can also be considered a unique feature in Jiangnan. The mountain villa, which covers hundreds of acres, naturally has a huge architectural complex. Murong Fu, who had a calm expression, and Li Qingluo, who was mixed with shame and anger, now wandered among them. Qingluo hid behind Murong Fu with a disheveled expression, pleading with her heart not to be discovered for her embarrassed appearance. At the same time, there was immense regret in my heart. Why did I only love the sparsely growing mandala flower? If it were planted densely, I would not be so embarrassed now. Someone. Upon hearing the footsteps in the distance, Qingluo, who was constantly paying attention to the movements around her, suddenly turned pale and her delicate body trembled as she leaned towards Murong Fu's body. "Madam, there's no need to panic." Murong Fu smiled calmly. Since Qingluo has already accepted her fate and gained control of Mantuo Villa, it is not easy to force too much. He took 2 quick steps and, relying on his top-notch cultivation, unconsciously knocked out several maids. "This way." Looking at the fainting maid, Qingluo's mouth slightly opened, and a hint of unnatural color flashed in her beautiful eyes. Wearing men's clothing, avoiding their own maids. Qingluo's heart was beating faster, and she felt like a man and woman who were having an affair. Even if there were any disturbances, they would make her nervous. Her stunning cheeks were already covered in blush. Under strong pressure, Qingluo leaned her fingers towards a building with a different thought in her heart. Cherry lips lifted lightly, and Qingluo said in a resentful voice, "That's the treasure trove of Mandala Villa. Thank you for pointing the way. I'll take Madam back to her dormitory now." Taking a deep look at the courtyard where all the belongings of the Mandala Villa were hidden, Murong Fu nodded. "You." Subconsciously, Qingluo was about to refuse, and even if she was by his side for a moment, she couldn't bear what Murong Fu had done. However, thinking of her sore body, she could only restrain herself and let Murong Fu's hand once again embrace her slender waist. "In that case, it's not enough." Sensing Qingluo's still trembling body, Murong Fu's gaze lingered. Avoiding the ordinary maids walking around the estate, Murong Fu seemed careless. I rushed into her dormitory holding Qingluo. "Madam, ah." As soon as they returned to the dormitory, the 2 close maids who stayed behind saw Qingluo, who was disheveled and blushing with embarrassment. He let out a scream in his mouth, which almost made Qingluo scream. "Kill them for me." Suddenly being seen by outsiders, Qingluo realized what Murong Fu was up to. She stared angrily at Murong Fu and shouted coldly. "Why is it so? After all, cultivating a close attendant is not easy." Casually throwing Qingluo onto the bed, Murong Fu's expression remained calm. "You." She wanted to do it on her own, but her soft and delicate body left her with no ability to do it. "If anyone else knows about today's matter, they will bury you in the soil as nourishment for the mandala flower. Get lost." Qingluo was mixed with shame and anger, but could only use a scolding voice to vent her frustration in her heart. Hejie, a lifeless maid, struggled to prop herself up from the bed and stared fiercely at Murong Fu with beautiful eyes. Her stunning cheeks were covered in frost, yet she remained silent. Realizing that Qingluo was about to collapse, Murong Fu smiled calmly and turned to walk towards the door. As soon as I stepped out of the room, I heard the sound of porcelain shattering from behind. With a sneer, shirtless Murong Fu disregarded the strange looks of the 2 maids and walked towards the treasure trove with Shiran. Soon, Murong Fu returned to the house where the treasure trove was located. Congratulations to the manor master. After obtaining the title of Lord of Mandala, the guards here, upon seeing Murong Fu, not only did not obstruct him, but also bowed respectfully with a respectful expression. The manor of Mandala is truly deserving of its reputation. After opening the door of the treasure trove, Murong Fu's calm expression couldn't help but fluctuate. Looking around, the vast treasure trove is not only filled with precious treasures, antique calligraphy and paintings, but also many rare collections of books. As for the gold and silver that people in the secular world regard as fate, they are randomly piled up in corners. Obviously, with the heritage of Mantuo Villa, Qingluo's view of money is extremely indifferent. The wealth accumulated by the 3 generations of Gusu Murong for the sake of restoring the country cannot compare to this place. The abundance of wealth in his eyes made Murong Fu exclaim in admiration. This treasure trove not only houses the wealth accumulated by the Gusu Wang family for over 100 years, but also includes Li Qingluo's dowry. Li Qingluo comes from a noble background, and her biological father is the leader of the peerless Xiaoyao sect, without a cliff. In addition, Li Qiushui, the mother of the Queen of Western Xia, and his adoptive father, Ding Chuanxiu, the old monster of the star constellation. Her dowry alone is so generous that it can support the operation of a small country. However, compared to these priceless treasures, what truly attracts Murong Fu is the golden mountains and silver seas that can enhance the power of the changing stars. I didn't expect to become a layman again. Bypassing the maddening porcelain paintings, Murong Fu walked towards the gold and silver piled up in the corner. Taking a rough glance, the large quantity of gold bricks and silver ingots is enough to make one dizzy. When there is a giant of 100,000 taels of silver. Murong Fu smiled calmly. The rules of the system are so domineering. With the achievements of Lord Mando, even without the guidance of Li Qingluo, he can freely allocate all resources. And everything in the treasure trove is only the tip of the iceberg at the Mandala villa. Apart from these mundane things, the most precious thing in Mantuo Villa is undoubtedly the countless martial arts secrets hidden in the Langhuan Jade Cave. System. Since he has obtained the necessary gold and silver, Murong Fu naturally won't wait too long. Reaching out and pressing on the gold and silver, the reinforcement system started working again. Does it consume 1,000 taels of gold and white martial arts essence X1 to enhance the skill Do Zhuan Xing Yi, ground level, plus 10. Strengthen. Accompanied by the intense fluctuations of his body's breath, a mysterious feeling lingered in Murong Fu's body. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement. The skill, Star Shift, plus 10. Does it consume 2,000 taels of gold and the essence of green martial arts X1 to enhance the skill, Do Zhuan Xing Yi, earth level, plus 11. Just strengthening to plus 10 requires the essence of green martial arts. Glancing at the prompts on the system, Murong Fu's expression remained calm. Not enough. Give me reinforcement. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement. The skill, Star Shift, plus 11. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement. The skill, Star Shift, plus 12. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement. The skill, Star Shift, plus 13. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the enhancement, Star Shift plus 13. Gain additional feature, Cohesion. Chapter 8 Martial Arts Characteristics. Cohesion. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ding, insufficient reinforcement resources, reinforcement failed. When Murong Fu wanted to strike while the iron was hot and continue to strengthen the Dozhuan Star Shift, the system's prompts also came one after another. The essence of martial arts. With a hint of regret, the reinforcement stopped, and Murong Fu's gaze lingered. Strengthening the system requires 1, 2, 2, and 3 martial arts essences for every 5 enhancements. After every 5 layers, the required essence is also converted to a higher level. The built-in components of the system have been almost depleted in previous enhancements. Current martial arts essence. White martial arts essence X6, green martial arts essence X1. Li Qingluo dropped the white essence of martial arts, but it is still unknown how the green essence of martial arts will drop. Upon learning that the essence of martial arts was insufficient, Murong Fu fell into contemplation. The measure to strengthen the system is to treat the entire martial arts world as a place to absorb resources. Only by acquiring more martial arts essence can he quickly become stronger. In this way, the entire martial arts world will become my hunting ground. Interesting, interesting. Muttering softly, a hint of coldness appeared at the corner of Murong Fu's mouth. Cohesion. When using Dozhuan Star Shift, you can enter a state of cohesion, during which you can absorb attacks multiple times and then rebound together. Taking back his thoughts, Murong Fu shifted his focus to the newly acquired system features. After reading the introduction of the system, Murong Fu smiled calmly. The previously acquired features, whether it is doubling the return attack or resisting the attacks of warriors in both high and self realms, are all moves used when fighting alone. The characteristics of cohesion are completely different from before. After gaining the ability to absorb multiple attacks, Murong Fu was completely unafraid of siege. Even if many people besiege him, he can turn everyone's attacks into his own and return them all. From then on, whether fighting alone or surrounded by others, Murong Fu will have a great advantage. System. Name. Murong Fu, Realm. First Class, Skill. Dozhuan Xingyi plus 13, Birth Level Skill, Reputation. 70, Achievement. Murong Family Leader. You can allocate all the resources of the Murong family in Gusu. Manor Master. Reputation plus 50, you can freely enter and exit the manor, and access all the resources at any time. Features. Lungda is a false name, a graceful young master, a great plan to restore the country, and a son of natural disasters. Martial arts characteristics. For Liang of 1,000 pounds, motionless like a mountain, bravery in battle, and cohesion. Unconsciously, there are already so many martial arts special effects. Looking at the system panel, Murong Fu's expression moved slightly. Although the feature comes from the system, it can be automatically learned after acquisition. But if you want to integrate and become proficient, you must practice. Apart from Qingluo, there are no other experts in Mantuo Villa. Thinking of the martial arts essence that he had previously painted on Qingluo, Murong Fu raised his eyebrows. Damn thief. Bastard. Immersed her whole body in the bathtub with petals floating, Qingluo's beautiful eyes flickered with a flame of shame and anger. Whenever Qingluo sees the red marks on her delicate body, she remembers that despicable face. The incident of being bullied by Murong Fu today is uncontrollably recurring in my mind. The feeling of being slaughtered and recklessly frivolous made her wish to immediately dismember Murong Fu. Suddenly, a different feeling rushed into my mind. That was a feeling she had never experienced before, and when she thought about it, it felt like two cat paws were tickling in her heart. In just a moment, the stunning cheeks were covered in a blush. Murong Fu. Damn you. I will never give up with you. Realizing her unusual appearance, Qingluo suddenly woke up. In the blink of an eye, it was already covered in frost. Change clothes. Qingluo gave a cold shout, and the two close maids walked into the bathroom with fear. Sigh. As her gaze shifted on the maid, Qingluo let out a sigh. If it had been before, she would have killed two intimate maids who knew about it. Since Murong Fu is still alive, with his cunning personality, if he kills these two maids, there will be other servants who will inadvertently notice. What should I do if Murong Fu keeps blackmailing me with this matter? Upon reflection, Qingluo stood up from the bathtub. Under the baptism of water, the plump and delicate body becomes increasingly crystal clear. Although she is no longer young, her figure is not out of shape, but has added some unique charm. A beautiful woman taking a bath brings endless spring scenery. Especially for women like Qingluo with outstanding looks. Pulling the moist hair from my forehead to my ear, my eyes were filled with anticipation, and I had regained my former elegant and luxurious appearance. Qingluo, who has just taken a bath, has beautiful eyes like a pond and mist, and her jade lips are bright and dripping. Wearing a simple white veil, yet unable to conceal temptation and dignity, the whole person is like a ripe peach. My cultivation has finally been restored. With the healing pills of the Xiaoyao sect, a small injury would naturally not harm Qingluo at all. After holding off the maid, Qingluo sat cross-legged on the bed, carefully sorting out the true qi inside her body. How did Murong Fu defeat me? Wrinkling her delicate Qiong eyebrows, Qingluo's eyes flashed with a hint of doubt. Murong Fu's top-notch cultivation is a world apart from Qingluo's cultivation in the postnatal realm. Even if the Gusu Murong family is a precious treasure, in the eyes of Qingluo, they still exist like chicken ribs. But with such strength, she was defeated. And it was an easy victory. Isn't it because I underestimated the enemy? Since learning martial arts, Qingluo has never fought anyone. Although he holds several divine skills, he is a paper tiger that can be easily punctured, unable to even unleash half of his own strength. This also made her mind start to spin. If there's another time, I'll definitely kill you. Murong Fu. Thinking of Murong Fu, a hint of shame, anger, and disgust appeared on Qingluo's stunning jade face. Madam murmured my name late at night, thinking of me in her heart. As Qingluo cursed softly, a sentence slowly reached her ear, making her stiff all over. What made her even more embarrassed and angry was that the transparent gauze on her body could not conceal the rich and tempting jade body. Ignoring Qingluo's embarrassment, Murong Fu walked to the bed as if there was no one around. It's so late, madam hasn't slept yet. With an appreciative gaze, Murong Fu nodded as he scanned Qingluo's delicate body, which seemed even more alluring, up and down. Ah! Sensing the scorching gaze of Murong Fu, Qingluo let out a scream and panicked, pulling on her veil to protect herself. After a moment of confusion, she finally realized. The thief in front of him not only saw through himself long ago, but also. How dare you show up? As her thoughts flowed, Qingluo decided to break the jar and throw it. A hint of determination flashed on her stunning cheeks, and her jade hand, which was holding onto her veil, quietly loosened. Visiting late at night, I wanted to. The beautiful scenery of spring's sudden release made Murong Fu's words unable to help but pause. He was just about to explain that his late-night visit was just for the purpose of testing his martial arts skills, and Qingluo was already close in front of him. Die! Qingluo gritted her silver teeth and suddenly rushed towards Murong Fu. As the jade hand waved, a rich and genuine aura enveloped the fingertips. Chapter 9. Qingluo, played bad. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Take it to death. Her pretty face was full of anger, and Qingluo's jade palm struck like lightning. This time, she felt that she had used 12 points of her abilities. With resentment in his heart, he launched his martial arts skills, which were originally neglected in cultivation, and now they have reached their peak. Qingluo is confident that even if Murong Fu's skills are strange, she will definitely be defeated by her. As the palm wind howled, there was even a burst sound in the air, indicating the power of this palm. Can this be considered a coincidence? I originally wanted to spar with Qingluo, but seeing this scene, Murong Fu smiled calmly. With a light swing of the left hand, it can withstand the attacks of masters in the Grandmaster realm and quietly launch like a mountain. Qingluo's thunderous attack is instantly dissolved into invisibility. After blocking the first move, Murong Fu gathered his strength with peace of mind and focused on using Qingluo as a trial stone. Compared to Qingluo's harmless attack, it was her voluptuous and delicate body, which seemed to be faintly visible, that stirred people's hearts and minds even more. Humph. Seeing her attack easily resolved, Qingluo gritted her silver teeth and continued to thrust harder. She didn't believe that with her acquired strength, could she still not afford to waste the only first-class Murong Fu. Based on her pitiful combat experience, Murong Fu has no strength to fight back. With just a little more effort, she can kill the person who bullied her. Unconsciously, the two have already engaged in dozens of moves. The true energy absorbed by the cohesive force is about to be filled. Almost done. Looking at Qingluo, who was sweating profusely, Murong Fu's expression remained calm. Li Qingluo's increasingly weak attacks have relieved him of any pressure. How cohesive attacks can diverge is a difficult problem. If you directly attack Li Qingluo, even if it's only 1/5 of her true qi, it's enough to diminish her fragrance. After thinking for a moment, Murong Fu waved his hands and directly slapped the energy absorbed by the cohesive force towards the ground. With a loud bang, the incredibly hard blue bricks and stones were smashed into powder and scattered all over the sky. The remaining force, which had not yet dissipated, spread straight around and blasted a large pit nearly 2 meters wide into the ground. You. Me. This scene directly stunned Li Qingluo. Looking at the large pit on the ground, she couldn't come to her senses for half a day. This powerful and unparalleled blow directly shattered Li Qingluo's naive idea that she could defeat Murong Fu. I lost. Her stunning cheeks were filled with despair, and Li Qingluo's expression was desolate. Ding, obtain the essence of Green Martial Arts X1. At the moment when Li Qingluo surrendered, a new message popped up in the system. Surprisingly, it is the essence of Green Martial Arts. Before defeating Li Qingluo, it was clear that the essence was still white. Thinking of the difference between the two times, Murong Fu smiled calmly. The only difference is probably the difference in Li Qingluo's mentality. The pampered Li Qingluo can only unleash half of the strength of the postnatal realm. Only by thoroughly provoking her can she unleash all her strength. Thinking of this, Murong Fu sneered coldly. Upon learning that Li Qingluo could still drop the green essence of martial arts, his interest immediately rose. Moreover, Li Qingluo, who was covered only in gauze, could not conceal the alluring curves of her delicate body. It's really a pity to keep such an extremely talented creature as a widow. Madam sweats too much, take another shower. As he spoke, Murong Fu had already embraced Li Qingluo, who had lost his fighting spirit. With a gentle push, Li Qingluo returned to the bathtub she had just bathed in. I would rather die than let you succeed. Damn thief. Ah. Thief. Li Qingluo's shy and indignant moan gradually lowered as the splashing water continued. Ding. Obtain the White Martial Arts Essence X1, by relying solely on the characteristic of gathering qi, one can withstand the siege of 3 to 5 postnatal realms. At the dawn, Murong Fu finally found time to review the previous battle with Li Qingluo. With the characteristic of cohesion, one can instantly kill their top experts as long as it is not a single blow. If he can withstand the first attack, he has already stood invincible. If previously, when Dozhuan's star shift was strengthened to +10, his target for the level crossing challenge was only one person. After gaining cohesion, you are now able to challenge several people beyond your level. Current Martial Arts Essence. White Martial Arts Essence X7, Green Martial Arts Essence X2. The essence of martial arts is insufficient, and the enhancement of Dozhuan Xingshi needs to be temporarily suspended for a period of time. After a moment of contemplation, Murong Fu decided to temporarily shift his focus to other martial arts. Although Nan Murong had learned a lot of martial arts before, his energy was focused on restoring the country. Except for the unique skill of Dozhuan Xingyi, which is the foundation of the reputation of the Gusu Murong clan, all other martial arts have only been learned superficially. And now Murong Fu possesses both the Huanchi Water Pavilion of the Sanhe Villa and the Langhuan Jade Cave of the Mantuo Mountain Villa, holding countless martial arts secrets. Having Li Qingluo as a companion can enhance one's martial arts skills. Starting from that day, Murong Fu stayed at the Mantuo Villa. During the day, flip through the secrets in the Langhuan Jade Cave, and then go find Li Qingluo to battle and dismantle the moves. Continue to provoke Li Qingluo at night, while gaining new martial arts essence. I practiced new techniques during the day and was killed by Li Qingluo. At night, review the old and learn the new, dry Li Qingluo. Over and over again, Murong Fu's martial arts background has become increasingly strong. As she practiced with Murong Fu every day, Li Qingluo gradually went from being initially ashamed and angry to becoming a habit. By the end, she had even become numb. She found in despair that even if she tried all her tricks, she couldn't do anything about Murong Fu. And not only that, every time Murong Fu cultivates his martial arts, his methods become more diverse. Not only in cultivation, but even in bed, Qingluo was about to give up resistance. Without him, Murong Fu is really too terrifying. Almost every time Qingluo is exhausted, but Murong Fu is still lively and shows no signs of fatigue. Not only did he forcefully pull himself during the day to try his moves, leaving him half exhausted. At night, she was even more ferocious, tormenting her with various unheard-of moves. Until now, every time Qingluo sees Murong Fu, she only feels her legs trembling and her whole body weak. Even Duan Jingchun, a heartless man, is far from Murong Fu. During a ceasefire break, Qingluo suddenly had such a shameful idea in her mind. However, although the thought only lingered in my heart for a moment. But as time passed, it became increasingly important for Qingluo. No matter how she belittles Murong Fu. Whether it's his appearance, cultivation, or demeanor, Duan Jingchun is not a match for Murong Fu. Even Duan Jingchun is not even worthy of lifting shoes for Murong Fu. With a loud bang, Qingluo, who noticed her psychological changes, suddenly slapped herself in the face. No, it's this little thief who forced me. It's like this, it's definitely like this. Yes, that's it. Qingluo comforted herself like hypnosis, and her beautiful eyes glared fiercely at Murong Fu beside her. Sensing Qingluo's unusual appearance, Murong Fu smiled rather than smiled. Pull it into your arms, reach out and press it down on the bed. Ah! Accompanied by the call of humiliation, Qingluo's exquisitely clenched toes instantly straightened. Ding! The host has accumulated 100 mysterious level martial arts and obtained a brand new talent. Obtaining talent. The strength of 100 schools. Chapter 10 Talent. The strength of 100 schools. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mandala Villa, on the vacant land within the estate. Two figures are clashing. One of them is the handsome and upright Murong Fu, dressed in a white brocade robe, with a jade belt at the waist and cloud boots on his feet, with a particularly outstanding temperament. The other one is Qingluo, who has a graceful figure and a beautiful appearance that cannot be ignored. She moves around with seductive and charming movements. Stop. After exchanging several moves, Murong Fu suddenly took action to restrain Qingluo. Qingluo didn't resist either, just rolled her eyes and complained, Murong Fu, what tricks are you playing again? After speaking, Murong Fu refused to answer. Qingluo shook her delicate body in dissatisfaction and broke free from Murong Fu's grip. Qingluo, who was not in control, remained standing in the open space, his mind drawn to the system's prompts. Ding! The host has accumulated 100 mysterious level martial arts and obtained a brand new talent. Obtaining talent. The strength of 100 schools. The 100 profound martial arts. In the past few days, Murong Fu has been living in Mantuo Mountain Villa, flipping through various martial arts secrets in the Longhuan Jade Cave. In this world of comprehensive martial arts, the level of ordinary martial arts secrets is divided into 4 levels. Heaven, Earth, Xian, and Huang, with each level divided into 3 levels. The martial arts passed down by the Murong clan in Gusu, such as Dozhuan Xingyi, are at the lower level of the Earth level. Dozhuan Xingyi has a total of 9 levels, and Murong Fu has been practicing since childhood, only then can he reach the 7th level. Master of the 100 Schools. Knowing the martial arts of the 100 schools, half the current affairs are twice as effective in practicing martial arts. This talent. After reading the introduction of the leader of the 100 schools, Murong Fu narrowed his eyes slightly. Just by looking at the introduction, you can understand its strength. The secret script for practicing martial arts may seem simple, but it is actually very difficult. Even beginner-level Buddhist martial arts such as the I Jin Jing and Shi Sui Jing. If the qualifications are insufficient, it will take several years or even more than 10 years of hard work to get started. Moreover, the more advanced the content, the more difficult it is to comprehend. Those who can often achieve great success through practice are those who are exceptionally talented. But the leaders of 100 schools of thought can ignore the limitations of various talents, and any mediocre or naturally dull person can cultivate their skills to great success. Even peerless martial arts with great limitations on talent can be practiced smoothly to the strongest level of martial arts. Undoubtedly a system, it is indeed domineering. Realizing the strongest talent of this sect, Murong Fu nodded. With the expertise of 100 schools of thought, the sword cultivation has a clear heart, the Taoist school has boundless freedom, and the demonic school has the same source of yin and yang. These martial arts that were previously cultivated with unknown talents have become effortless for the current Murong Fu. Since that's the case. Murong Fu's eyes narrowed slightly, as he sat cross-legged and began to move the stars. Immersed in a sea of Dan Tian Qi, the mind silently recites the overall outline of the martial arts. Unlike before, as soon as the cultivation method began to operate, a lot of information immediately came to Murong Fu's mind. The pass, which was originally extremely difficult to comprehend, seems to be melting like ice and snow at this moment, and is easily unobstructed. The true qi in the body is like boiling water, fluctuating violently. Waves of faint golden light filled Murong Fu's dantian. Murong Fu's mind stirred, and the strands of true qi converged into a vortex, surging wildly, breaking through the previous bottleneck in an instant. Dozhuan star moves 8th level. The 9th level of Dozhuan star shift. A surging and vast force surged out of Murong Fu's sea of dantian qi, flowing throughout his body. In an instant, waves of strong winds swept around him, making him appear as if he were a banished immortal in the dust, ethereal and ethereal. What the hell is this thief doing? Such changes occurred in the field, and Qingluo finally felt something was wrong. Looking up, the clothes on Murong Fu's body were calm and automatic, with visible strands of pale golden airflow lingering around his tall body. He actually entered the realm of nurture. Qingluo's beautiful eyes widened, revealing a strong surprise. Why is the momentum of breakthrough so strong? In theory, when a first-class warrior breaks through the postnatal realm, there will not be too violent movements. Murong Fu's promotion far exceeded Qingluo's imagination. Even with her noble background, she had never heard of such a vision. How did she know that Murong Fu was not only able to break through the acquired realm so easily, but also had already reached the pinnacle of his cultivation of standing techniques? At the moment of breakthrough in cultivation, Murong Fu's whole body burst out with a fierce and unparalleled sharpness. Slowly opening his eyes, Murong Fu's gaze lingered. Immediately, he extended his right palm and forcefully grabbed forward. The dragon claw hand, one of the 70.2 unique skills of Shaolin, was used by Murong Fu. With the strength of 100 schools of thought, the moves that were originally just rough learning have now become smooth and flexible, and their power has increased several times. Amidst the howling palm wind, a golden dragon claw appeared out of nowhere and suddenly rushed towards the nearby wall. As the dragon claws swept across, the hard wall suddenly shattered and collapsed. Upon seeing this scene, Qingluo couldn't help but take a deep breath, her beautiful eyes filled with shock and awe. The walls in the courtyard are all built with a single piece of bluestone. A hard wall weighing over 10,000 pounds and standing over 10 zhang high. Even innate warriors are difficult to break with just one blow. But under Murong Fu's command, it was like paper paste, casually grabbed and turned into a pile of gravel. Even the domineering and powerful 18 dragon subduing palms is probably just that. Looking at the courtyard wall that he had destroyed, Murong Fu smiled calmly. With the assistance of the head of 100 schools, the recently cultivated martial arts secret script has become his killer weapon in an instant. Even if you have only roughly learned it, when used, its power is incredibly amazing. The environment after tomorrow. Feeling the breakthrough cultivation, Murong Fu's mood moved slightly. His true qi has already surpassed that of ordinary postnatal martial artists. Even more so. The passage of time and the movement of stars are complete. As long as true qi is filled, you will not encounter any passes until you reach the Grandmaster's realm. But now. Waving to Li Qingluo, Murong Fu's mouth curved slightly. Ah! Seeing Murong Fu's gesture, Li Qingluo, who had not yet recovered from shock, was immediately startled. In recent days, she has not only been dragged to practice by Murong Fu during the day, but also been subjected to various disturbances at night. Li Qingluo was already mentally exhausted, unable to bear it. When Murong Fu was only a first-class cultivation, she was no match. Now that he has broken through to the realm after tomorrow, isn't he even more invincible? My wife is tired. Under the loss of color in her floral appearance, Li Qingluo only felt her plump legs trembling slightly. Ha! Looking at Li Qingluo's fearful expression, Murong Fu smiled faintly and said, only attack, not defend. Damn it! Look at the move. Upon learning that she had been underestimated, Li Qingluo felt inexplicably embarrassed and angry. Although she is still afraid, she is also a martial artist in the acquired realm, and her strength is not weak. How dare a petty thief only attack but not defend? How can he easily grasp it? With a soft scolding, Li Qingluo rushed forward. Get out! Get out of here! When Li Qingluo was carried back to her dormitory by Murong Fu, she felt ashamed and angry. After driving out the maid, her stunning cheeks were already flushed. What made her even more embarrassed and angry was the evil murmur in her ear, Madam, don't worry, I'll change your clothes now.